Welcome. I'm a couple of minutes early. I'm going to go ahead and get my phone turned on and get the comments going. So give me just a second. Let me get into Facebook. Let me turn the volume down. Let me get into the Facebook page and see what's happening. We've got, now it's trying to record me. All right, let me get into my, shall we stamp? There we go. It says I am live. Yep, we're live. Okay, give me a minute. Let me, what was I going to do? Get the comments. Hello. This is what happens when you retire and you get old. Chat, we're going to add the chat. So let me just put a couple of things in here. Oh, if I can spell, welcome. Can't spell. Okay, let's see. And it's posted. There we go. All right, we're going to start in a few minutes. I do have some housekeeping that I want to go over, and that may take probably a good, I'm thinking 8 to 10 minutes, because I'm going to go over a couple of things. There's a lot of questions about the sweet special, so I'm going to hopefully answer those questions for you, and we'll get started. So if you once you come on board, and hopefully if you let me know you're out there, I'll see your comments pop up. Otherwise, you'll be watching, and I won't. I might know it if you. I don't know, but anyways. So I am streaming to YouTube as well as Facebook, and we will begin probably about 7:02, because I do want to go over this information. I think it's going to be extremely helpful for you all, and I want to make sure we get all the questions answered and all of that good stuff. So, okay, that goes with that, but I don't really need this piece right here. So we're going to toss that piece of paper out of the way. All right, so come on in, have a seat, get your drink together, whatever that may be. Hello, Karen. Look, I had like a sleeveless shirt on all day, and the air conditioner is running. I'm sure you're doing the same thing. Air conditioner's running all the time, and I freeze. We have it set on 75. Well, normally 74. We turn to 75. And I get colds, and then I put on a sweater, and I was freezing, so I thought, now I'll probably sweat. So I put on this little comfy outfit. I said, I hope they don't think I have my pajamas on, because it kind of looks like pajamas. So now, because the lights are on, and I think I might have to go turn the air conditioner down a notch. I'm starting to sweat. So give me 1 second. I'm going to sneak out. My husband's on the phone. I'm going to turn it down a bit. Hold on. I'm turning this down to 75. My light's on. Okay, I'm back. I turned it down. Anyway, so I was getting hot. So I thought, I gotta put on a long sleeve shirt. And I know that people are probably going, you're in Florida, but it's, when you're in the house and the air conditioner's blowing, it's cold. Okay, let me see what happened to my phone. Hang on a minute. I had my Facebook live. There we go. So how's everything? I know. Usually I'll put on winter. They're not heavy, but they're like pajamas, they look like Christmas. And I have a real light, kind of a light black sweatshirt that it's not a sweatshirt, but it's like a sweatery thing and I wear that almost every night. And then I pull this thing out because it's thin. But now with all the lights on in here, I'm probably going to sweat to death, but whatever. It's crazy. So have y'all been getting much rain? We got some this weekend, and the golf course is closed for 2 weeks because this is the time of year they go through and update and whatever they have to do, aerate, all that good stuff. So anyways, we're going to start in about 2 minutes, because I want to go over, because I'm getting a lot of people are confused about our buy one, get one half off sweet sale. So I want to go over that so everybody has a better understanding. And then Also, what else? I think that was it. Was that it? Oh yeah, well that, and then of course there's something else. There's two things that I want to go over that's from Stampin' Up! That's important. So I want to cover that before we get started. Anyways, so I've been not that I'm ready to get a dog yet, but I've been looking. When I got Riley, I got her through the Poodle and Pooch Rescue. So I've been looking at their site. It's an all run by volunteers, and they rescue all the dogs that nobody wants. I think I might have told y'all about this before. And so I've been on there looking. We've got a trip planned July 1st to go to Canada, to Montreal. So when we get back, I'll probably start looking. But anyways, there's several dogs on there that, oh my God, they look, I've seen 3 of them that look like it could be Riley. And I thought, I can't do that. I said, I can't get a black dog that's going to look like my other dog. That's not going to work. So anyways, I've been looking, haven't seen anything that just, takes my heart, but I'm trying not to do that now. I want to wait till we get back from vacation. So, and then I'll start looking, but we'll see. I miss getting up because, like I get up in the morning now. I mean, I meet a friend and we walk a couple of days a week, but, I'm so used to getting up, taking her out every day and walking. Right. And then I walk, we walk probably 4 or 5 times a day. We just go out and so we can walk, get some fresh air. And now I don't do that. So I have to force myself to get out of the house, which is pretty sad. So anyways, all right, let's see what time it is. I know I know. And then one of the security guys who retired recently, he had a small dog. And the last day he was working, I went by the gate to talk to him for a few minutes, and he had set up a camera in his house where he could watch his dog. And it was just a little, and he was older. And I ran into one of the other security guys yesterday, and he stopped me and he said, "Oh, Craig's dog passed away about 3 weeks ago." I was like, "Oh my God, I feel this." And that was his best friend. You know how that goes. So I felt so bad. I said, "Will you please text me his phone number so that I can call him?" Which he has forgot to do. But anyway, so anyways, all right, let's see. What time is it? All right, it's 4 after. Let's go ahead and get started. Welcome, everyone. I'm Dawn Duvall. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and I live in Fort Myers, Florida. And I have been doing this craziness going on, that's going on. It's 14 years plus, going on 15, actually. That is really weird. But anyways, before we get started, we're going to do one card tonight. It's a little bit more involved. So I think by the time I get done talking and go through the card, it's probably going to take up the hour. But I think it's one that you'll like. You may have seen it before. I do have a tutorial for that, and I'll go over that in just a few minutes as well. Let me make sure I got my phone. All right, we're good. I just want to make sure my phone's on. Okay, so Stampin' Up! Is offering 2 things going on. One right now for the month of June. It started today. They're doing a buy a suite and get one 50% off. Okay, so there's some confusion. You don't have to buy 2 suites. You can buy part of a suite. So let's say there's the suite, and I put this in my newsletter. So if you're not on my newsletter list and you are interested, let me know. Leave me a comment, and I'll send you a copy of today's newsletter because it has all the information in it. So anyways, if you look at the suites, they typically have, the dies, the stamp, the designer paper. They'll have like embellishments. They may have ribbon or whatever that stuff is. All of that is considered the suite. You get that at a discount. So if you decide you want to buy part of the suite, let's say you just want to get the stamps and the die, a bundle, you can get that because that's part of a suite. And then your second item that you choose could be another part of a suite. So it could be the dies, it could be another bundle of a suite. And the lower of the 2 prices, you would get the lower of the 2, you would get 50% off. But here's the kicker. So if you're going online and you're ordering like I was going to do, now I'm going to have to change it up a little bit because I wanted to get some design. Okay, so let's say like me, I put in a stamp bundle from a suite, and then I wanted some designer paper, and then I added a couple more things in there. Well, the designer paper was the half price item. Well, that's only $15. So I don't want to do that, right? So my recommendation is if you're looking at suites and you're going to get several like bundles, one bundle, the other bundle would be 50% off. Don't put anything else that's small in price, or I should say lower in price, as if you were going to buy, let's say, a stamp set or a glue. Let's say you put a Tombow glue in there and you put designer paper. Well, guess which one's going to get half price? It's going to be the Tombow glue. Let's just say you buy the Tombow, because that's $6. So they're going to take that and give you half price. So my recommendation is to do 2 orders. Now I know you got to pay 2 shipping. Now that's if you're going to have, if you're going to buy several items that are bigger dollars, right? That are going to be parts of the bundles. That's what I would do. Now, if you're only getting a bundle with the paper and that's all you're going to buy, then that's fine. You'll get the paper at half price, or whatever, else that might be part of a bundle. So for instance, I'm ordering things that aren't part of the bundle, like plates for my big, for the, and cut, for the embossing, cut embossing folder, emboss machine, the Big Shot. I'm ordering that, and I'm ordering, I thought it was a bundle, but a suite, but apparently it's not. One of my customers wants the sunrise sailing. She just wants the embossing folder with the dies. Well, that's not considered a suite. It's just a bundle. So that doesn't get to be half price. So that's my recommendation. Also, the online exclusives are included in that bundle. So if you see something that's in the online exclusive, it could be a suite, those are also included as well. So just keep that in mind. So if you've got a couple of items that are in a suite and you've got stamps and dies, you might want to put a separate order in for the smaller items, like if you're going to get embellishments or ribbon or whatever, glue or whatever it may be. So I just thought I'd throw that out there. And in my newsletter, I do go into a little bit more detail. It runs through the end of this month, so that's a good thing. So if you don't get it today, now they're, the way, how people are, if you tell them you've got a sale going, right, then they're going to try to get everything, and there might be stuff that's going, that could go out of stock, or it's while supply. So, or it could go on back order, who knows. All right. And then the other thing I thought I'd share with you is, if you haven't, and if you're on Facebook and you're following different demonstrators, I'm sure, or you have a demonstrator, they have shared this with you. Stampin' Up! Is offering a month-by-month scrapbooking kit, and they're doing a 3-day event. And you purchase the kit. I'm going to call it the retreat. They call it a retreat kit. It's $250, but it comes with a gazillion amount of supplies. You get 12 months of 2-page layouts, and then all of the materials and things. Now, it doesn't come with stamps, so you can order the stamp set that they recommend, or just use what you have for sentiments. That's up to you. So it's $250 to get the kit that will have all of the supplies needed for the pages, and then you would either buy a stamp set or use what you have at home. It says this is what it includes: pre-cut designer paper, 2-tone cardstock, 2-tone cardstock sheets, embellishments, memory protectors, flip flaps, which are the clear memory that you can put smaller cards or pictures in, that flap up so you can get more out of your page, more room. Photo placement holders. It does not include the album, and it says, once you finish making your spread, you can post them in the album you have on hand, or consider purchasing one of the ones that Stampin' Up! Offers. So it is a live event, but if for some reason you can't make it, it's going to be recorded, so you'll be able to follow along. In my newsletter, I did put a link to the 12 monthly pages so that you all can get an idea of what that looks like, as well as a link for the buy one, get one with my different, with my information on that as well. So I just want to make sure that you all were aware of the monthly retreat that's coming up for scrapbooking, the month-by-month album retreat. But more importantly, right now, hang on, pardon me. I wanted to make sure that you were well aware of the buy one, get one half off for the suites, because you don't want to get to the end of your shopping and hit the cart and you go, why is my designer paper on sale, which is $12.50 for whatever it is, $6 and something, and you were thinking you were going to get something more expensive on half price. So just keep that in mind and pay attention to your cart. You may want to pay the extra and do a second shipping, which is $7 and whatever. Let's just say it's $8. So in the big scheme of things, if you're going to get something that's a larger price, that you're going to get it for half price or another suite, then that's what I would recommend that you do. Okay. All right. So that with that being said, now we are going to do, and I put together a tutorial. So I'm going to flip the card, I'm going to flip the camera down and give me just a minute. And then I'm going to show you the card that we're going to be making, and we're going to do one in a different color. So give me 1 second. I have to move the camera. So just bear with me. I've got to get it adjusted up. So, all right, I'll see you in just a minute. All right, hang on. Got to do that. There we go. Are we in? Nope. Hang on. I think I had it to, there we go. Now we've got it. Let me get this thing adjusted. Bear with me 1 second. I want to make sure I get everything in here. I apologize. I really wish I had the old way of doing my videos because it was so much easier. All right. How does that look? Is that good? All right. We're going to make, you all have seen the fan cards, right? The fan fold cards. And that's what we're going to make this evening. Is this going in the right direction? Let me just make sure, because I have a feeling, is it backwards? Yes, it is. Hang on. Is that backwards to y'all, or can y'all see? No, there we go. That's right, isn't it? Let me look at my camera. Hold on. There we go. Karen, tell me, can y'all see that? Is that in the right direction? I think it is looking, it looks like, yeah, because there's my hands. We're good. Okay. Upside down. All right. Give it a minute and let me know. Because I think it's going to take a minute to refresh. I think I've got it because I can see my hands. I think we're good. All right. I'm going to go ahead and keep talking. Yep. Okay. Got it. Thank you. All right. So this is the arrow. They call it, well, I guess different people have different names for it, but I found it called the Arrow Fan because it's like a fan card. Now, this is a larger size than normal. I'm going to work, not now, but when I have some time, I'll try to figure out, this is a 5x7. So we are going to have to make our envelope. I'll figure out if there's got to be a way we can make this smaller, and then our arrows will just be a lot smaller as well. So that's what we're going to do. And so this is what the card looks like that I made. And you can see you've got your little fans right there. So that's what we're going to create today. Whoops, let me put it down because I think it's going to take a little bit of time to go through this. I hope, yep, the lighting looks good. Okay, let me get this back in here. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Now, I am using paper that I got from when we took over. I found this. I forgot I even bought this, and it's so much in here. It's unbelievable. It's one of the close to my heart scrapbooking workshop kits, and it was on sale for an ungodly inexpensive amount. And I forgot I had it. It came with a stamp and 2 sets of dies, and it's got 3 packs of paper in here. It's got paper, like pattern paper. It's got cardstock paper, and then it has cardstock, pattern paper, cardstock, and different. It's a lot in here, and it's heavy. It weighs a ton. So, hang on, my phone's ringing. I got to hang up. Phyllis, I'm on the thing. Okay. Sorry about that. All right. So that's what we're going to do. That's what we're using. So if you're questioning where this paper came from, that's where it came from. And then I'm also using one of the sticker sheets for my sentiment, and I'm probably going to use this one here. So this is, and you can see it's designed for scrapbooking because you can look at how big the letters are, right? I mean, the words, there's no way you could put that on a card, but it's good for scrapbooking. And then of course, all the smaller stuff down here, we could all the sentiments down here and stuff we can use. All right, so I'm going to pull this out of the way. I'm going to set it off to the side. I'm going to adjust my camera one more time. Give me 1 second. I want to make sure we get in the camera. I want you all to be able to see everything. I'm going to move my thing up just a little bit more. I really do wish that I had my other program. Nope, that's too much. Hang on. I apologize. All right, I think we're good. I'll keep my eye on it to make sure. All right, so I'm going to give you, if you want a copy of the tutorial with the directions, hang on, I'm going to try to move this down a little bit again. Move it forward. I'm trying to move it forward and then pull the arm up. There we go. Okay, that'll work. All right, so we'll make an envelope at the end, and I'm going to set this off to the side. Now, here's the tutorial. So if you want a copy of the tutorial, just put tutorial in the comments, and then I will message it to you or email it to you. So this is what I'm going to give you the measurements, and then this is what how we're going to do this. Your card base is going to be cut at it's going to be cut at 7 by 10, and then scored in the half at 5 inches. And then we're going to make some cuts. We're going to do some angle cuts. Then we're going to have another layer of cardstock. And that piece is 6 3/4 by 4 3/4. And then we're going to trim off. We're going to do another angle cut. And then we're going to trim a little bit of that off. And then on the DSP or our pattern paper, that piece is going to be 6 1/2 by 4 1/2. And then we're going to trim off a 1/2 inch. After we do a 2 1/2, we're going to do another angle cut. Those angle cuts are what you're going to keep because that's what you're going to use to make those arrows, okay? And then I have on the back all of the directions as well as pictures so that you can see what this is supposed to look like, okay? So just let me know if that's something that you're interested in. Just leave a comment, tutorial, and then I will get that to you. And then you can have the directions to make your own. Is that light? It looks kind of dark in here. Are we good with the lighting? Okay. All right. And then this is piece here. We're going to make our envelope. So we need to put that off to the side. I already cut it. And then I'll go over that with you too when we get done. So, all right. So our main piece is, and don't ask me the names of these colors because this, again, was from Close to My Heart, which are colors were different than what Stampin' Ups were at the time. Okay, so we're going to bring in our paper trimmer. Now, I guess I need my directions, don't I? Because I need to have these so I can see what my measurements are. All right, I'm pretty confident I've already cut this, but we're going to make sure. Hey, Sharon, welcome. Hey, Linda, welcome, welcome. All right, so our base card is going to be 10 inches, which it is, right? So we're going to line that up. It's at 10. So I've already cut this down to 10 inches, and then this should be 7. All right, so we've got it right there. So that's 7 by 10. I'm going to turn it back, and then we're going to score it in half, which is going to be 5 inches, all right? So we're going to score it at 5 inches. All right, now, so we have this, and I'm going to, now this is a little flimsy. This is, again, part of that cardstock paper that from Close to My Heart. All right, so we're going to take this base right here, and on the right side, we're going to make a mark. And you know what? I forgot to bring a pencil. I need to go get a pencil. Hold on a second. I forgot a pencil. Let me see if I can find one in here. Hang on. Nope, I got to run. Of all things, I forgot was my pencil. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so what we're going to do is we are going to line this up at 2 inches, and we're going to cut it. So we're going to line this up at 2 inches. I'm going to do it on the left side, but then I'm going to flip it over, okay? So at our 2 inch mark, and I'm going to mark it right down at the bottom so I can see it right here. And that way it might make it a little bit easier. And then I can erase this. All right, so I'm just going to put a little dot right there. All right, so now I've got my 2 inch mark right here. So I am going to line up my dot in my trimmer, right? But I want to come down. Let me get my paper up here. So we're going to put the trimmer. Can you see that? All right, so we've got the dot here. Now we'll erase that, but I want to get my point. Hang on a second. Let me close my arm so I can, hold on. So that way I can move this up because I got all sorts of stuff on my little table. Put that in there. Okay, let's try this again. All right, line this 2-inch where we mark the 2 inches. Turn our paper at a diagonal so that our point is in the track. Okay, so that's going to go there, right? We want to make sure we get it lined up. And then your point is going to go in the track so we can cut that. All right. So I'm going to pull my paper. Now I'm going to pull my cutter in just a little bit. That way it doesn't crinkle up the paper, you know, your cardstock when you get ready to cut. So again, I'm going to make sure it's in there. We're going to cut that down. All right, now we have this. Save this because that's what's going to create those arrows on top of the card. Okay, so we're going to set that off to the side. And then I'm going to set this guy off to the side. Let me give this a good burnish. Whoopsie, sorry about that. And you'll need to have your paper trimmer because we're going to be doing a lot of cutting. All right, so that's our card base, okay? Now we're going to come in. This is the inside of my card, so let's do that last. I've got everything backwards. Okay, so this is going to be my next layer of my card. So this is, this piece here should be, if I'm not mistaken, and I'll bring out the tutorial in just a second. This should be the 6 3/4 by 4 3/4. Yep, so that's 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. And if you're just joining, you don't need to take notes. If you want the tutorial, just leave a comment, tutorial, and then I will send it to you. I've got it all printed out right here. I've got pictures of everything that will help you with the directions. And then, of course, the written directions are on the back as well. Okay, so this is our first layer onto the card base. And again, it's 6 3/4 by 4 3/4. So on the 4 3/4 mark at the top, okay, on this one at the top, we want to make a mark, and we're going to mark this at 2 3/4. So we're going to come over here, and we're going to make a mark. I'm going to come down just a little bit so I can make a mark up there. All right, so we want to get it straight, right? I don't know if I can get my pencil in here or not. I don't think I can. I'll have to separate him. No, he ain't going to work. So, oh, I did. I made a little dot. All right, so I got a little dot right there. All right, there's our dot. Okay, so now looking at our directions here, we're going to trim the 2 3/4 off first, okay? And then from that, we're going to do another cut. So now I've got this here. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm turning my card to where we're going to trim down the, to make our slant. We're going to give it our thing here, our little slant. So we want to cut from here and then make sure our point is in the card again in the track. So we're going to come up here and then we're going to cut. All right, so now we're going to keep this piece because we need that one as well. That's going to go with our other part. Now this will get layered on here just like that. And we'll layer these in just a minute after we get them all cut. How's that? And that'll make it a lot easier. All right, now we're going to pull in our pattern paper. Whoops, I got a little piece right there. All right, so we're going to put him down at the corner. All right, so now this piece is the pattern paper, and this is 4 1/2. And again, if you're just joining, I've got a tutorial, so just put tutorial if you want a copy of it, by 6 1/2. So 4 1/2 by 6 1/2, okay? So on this one, we're going to make a mark at the 2 1/2. Oh, you know what? No, we're good. I don't need to do that yet. Okay, so we're going to make a mark at the, oh, you know what? Hang on, back up. I messed up. Hold on. I forgot to do something. Back to this, the first one. After we did the 2 3/4, I need to trim a 1/4 inch off of this. So that's my fault. Sorry about that. Because we got to get our arrows so they're lined up. So my apologies. And this is in the template. So we're going to cut off a 1/4 inch on that first arrow that we cut off. Okay, so we're just going to trim that. Throw this piece away. This is now where you're going to keep your arrow. Okay, sorry about that. All right, now we'll get back to the pattern paper. So our 4 1/2 is going to be at the top. We're going to do the same thing, but we're going to trim this. We're going to make a mark at 2 1/2 inches. Okay, so we want to get this lined up at the 2.5, right? So we're going to make a little dot right there so we know where to cut. All right, now we're going to rotate. We've got the mark in our trimmer thing. Let me bring it down so y'all can see it. All right, and then we're going to get our point right here. This one I tore the paper a little bit, but it will be fine. So there's our tip right there. So we're going to put this in and hold it down, and then we're going to cut that, and then that's going to go on top of this. And again, we'll glue all this down in just a few minutes. Now on this one, our directions say we want to cut a 1/2 inch off. So we're going to move it over to the 1/2 inch mark, and we want to get it lined up on the straight line right here. So we want to get it even, and then we're going to pull, let me make sure it's even on the line, and I'm going to hold that down, and then we're going to cut that. And again, we're going to throw that piece away, and we're going to keep this little arrow. Okay, so that's that. All right, so that's the first part. Now, the next thing we need to do is we're going to come in with our, let's do the inside of our card. All right, so the inside, and then we'll do the arrows. The inside piece, I'm using the same color scheme, and this is 4 3/4 by, and all of this is in the directions. It's 4 3/4. Let me find it. Hang on, my inside piece. 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. Okay. So what we're going to do with this is this one we're not cutting. So that's just going to get adhered to the inside of the card. So I'm going to lay that right there. All right. Okay. Now we have a piece of, I'm using, it's like an off-white. So this piece is 6.5 by 4.5. And on this one, we want to cut an angle, right? Because when we put this on the inside of our card, we don't want to have all that white showing, okay? So we're going to do an angle cut on this as well. So this is for the inside of our card. And again, this is 6.5 by 4.5. And we're going to mark it at 2 1/8. So I'm going to place a mark at 2 1/8, and we're going to do what we just did. We're going to 2 1/8. Sorry, I was doing 2.5. 2 1/8, and I'm going to make a little mark right there. Okay. And then this one, we're going to cut it down from the right corner. So we're going to cut it right like this. So this is top here. And then we want to bring the bottom down to the right because we want that angle to go where it's not going to show. Okay. So we're going to line that up in the track. We're going to put this in the track here. And it's our bottom right corner is what we're going to use. And so this is our left. We're going to mark it at 2 1/8 and then come down here and cut. So I'm going to cut and go all the way up. And then this one, we want to keep that too because we're going to use that. All right. And then I'm going to erase that little piece right there so we don't see it. And then that's going to get glued to that. We'll glue everything down once I get everything all cut. How's that? Okay. And then I'll go back and take all these eraser marks off, pencil marks. All right. So we're going to keep this piece. All right. Now we're going to do our, we're going to do the same thing on these are going to create your arrows. Okay. So now we're down to, let me get my pencil. Tips. Hang on, I got to read my notes here. All right, we've done that one. Center the arrows. Yeah, we did that. Did I leave out a step? 6.5 by 4.5. All right, so this one, we're going to, hang on a minute. Line up the bottom. Nope, that's not it. Where is my pieces? Hang on a minute. I'm doing the inside, center arrows, top on each other. We've done that. Bottom tip with the bottom left corner of the card. Oh, we're just going to take these and cut these at an angle. These are going to go from the left to the right. I'm sorry, from the right to the left. And this is going to be, hang on a minute. I've just lost my train of thought here. Why am I missing a step here on my paper? Okay, hang on. I typed this thing up. Let me make sure I've got it right. Inside of the card, inside, center arrows. We're going to put those on top. We haven't done our arrows yet. Inside of card, 6.5 by 4.5, which is, hold on a minute. All right, we got the 6.5 by 4.5, and then this is 6 by 4. So now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do a 2-inch mark, if I'm not mistaken. Let's do a 2 1/8, and then we can always trim it down. All right, so we're going to make a mark there. Now remember, we want to go left to the right. So we're going to go this way, and then we're going to trim that down. I hope I'm doing this right. All of a sudden, my brain just went, I don't know if that's right. All right, so we're doing that. Oh, you know what? I think that's supposed to be. No, I screwed up. This is going to be cut at an angle. I knew there was something wrong with that. Hang on. This is going to be cut at an angle. That's why. Hang on. I knew something wasn't right, but that's okay because I still have it. I can cut an angle. All right, there we go. We're cutting an angle. So we have 2 triangles. I just screwed up the one triangle. So hopefully this triangle is gonna work. If not, we'll have to leave off that piece. I think I might have messed that one up. All right, I think we'll be fine. Sorry. We're gonna cut these in triangles. I gotta add that to my tutorial. Somehow I left that one off. Okay, so these are gonna be cut right down the center and make 2 triangles, and you're going to keep the right side of the triangle. That's my fault. Sorry about that, you guys. I knew I was going to screw this up. Maybe I have another piece of green paper, so we'll see. All right, so we're going to cut this at a diagonal, corner to corner. Keep the right side because this is going to create our other triangles that we need. So we're going to put this off to the side here, and then we're going to do the same thing with this. We're going to cut down, and we're going to do that. Let me get my trimmer. And I am going to, okay, we're going to keep the right one because that's going to go in. Let's move this out of the way. Give me 1 second. I'm going to see if I have a piece of that green paper real quick and I can fix that. So give me 1 second and we'll make a quick change. Let me see if I got a piece of the green. La, 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 la. See, it never fails, right? That's why I brought this paper in here because I thought, oh, if I cut this thing wrong, I'm going to be upset with myself. Hang on, let me see if I got. And unfortunately, in the scrapbooking kit, they don't give you a lot of the different colors. So we may have to pull out something a little different. Give me a second. Let me look and see if I can find it real quick. Of course, now I'm sweating like a pig. Oh, because it's hot. I got all these lights on in here. Let me see if I have any of the green. Now, these are colors. All right, hang on. I apologize, you guys, because I have a feeling that my right angle thing is not going to work. And if that's the case, I'm just going to cut another piece that's going to coordinate, hopefully. So give me a minute here. We'll see if we can get this. This might work. Actually, I think I'll do that. No, but we need a plain piece of cardstock. Hold on. See, there's all my blues. That's what I did on the other one. Let me see if I find a piece of green. I apologize, you guys. I know, nothing like watching me dig through my paper, huh? All right, let's do this. We're just going to use a piece of the off-white. It'll be fine. No one's going to know the difference. So let me just pull this out. I was looking to see if I had any scraps from the white, from the green, but if they only give you enough that's enough to do what you need to do, right? Let me just double check because I see some green in here and I just need a small piece. See, there's some yellow. Hold on. And then I'll stop. I know. Don't you love it? These are all my scraps. Bear with me. Let me see if I can find. This one I had to do the same thing. I had to use a different color. So, okay. Let me see. There's a piece of green there. Hold on. Nope. Okay, we're gonna go with cream. It's okay. It'll work. You'll get the gist of it. Right? Okay. Okay, never mind. So that piece is going to be, what did I say this piece was for? Let's see. Let me measure real quick since I cut it off. I think it was 6.5 by 6 1/4. 6.5, if I'm not mistaken. So let's just do that. Let me cut this real quick. We're going to do 6.5 by 4.5. So, sorry about that, you guys. I told you. You never know. Sometimes it's a comedy hour here. So we'll do, let's do 4.5. That way I don't have to cut such a big piece off. 4.5 will go right here. All right, let me just cut this real quick. Toss that on the floor. 4.5, then we're gonna make this 6.5. I think this should be the one that should work. All right. Okay, let's try that again. So, all right, we're going to have one color that's going to be off a little bit, but that's all right. It'll be fine. All right, so this one, I'm going to make sure I got the right. No, it's going to be cut down a little bit. Oh, maybe it was 6 and, oh, you know what? I think it was 6 and, what did I do? 6, hang on, 6.5 by 4.5. Yeah, that should be right. 6.5 by 4.5. Let's see. 6.5 by 4.5. Yeah, we're going to cut that. I think that's right. If it's not, we'll trim it. No big deal. All right. Sorry about that, you guys. All right, we're going to cut this in the, keep the center one. I mean, the right-sided one. We're going to put these off to the side. I think I did it too big. So we'll trim it down when we get, we'll trim it down. No big deal. Okay. So now that we've got that fiasco, let me move the green pieces out of the way. This is one, but that's the offer one. All right, hang on a minute. Let's get over here. We might be able to make this work with the green one. Oh, wait, throwing arrows away. I need the arrows too. Okay, hang on a minute. Let's get all our pieces together and then we're going to put this card together. All right, so these are our arrows that we need. So we've got those 3 pieces. And I think these are the ones that I cut off wrong. Do you know what? I have a feeling that this might work. Oh, yeah, it's going to work. I don't know what I was thinking. Okay, look at that. This goes over here, and that goes, because this is going to go here. All right, I think we're good. I think we might be good. Okay, so let's go ahead and get everything. We'll figure this out. And then I've got my, my arrows. So we've got this arrow, and we have this arrow. Because we're going to do the base if I don't have the green one correct, which I do right here. So we're going to do the green arrow like that. And then we should have a small yellow one. No, that's not right. This one's going to have to, we'll have to use this piece. This one will go here. And then I need my little piece of that. Okay. All right. Let's see how this is going to work. All right, so let's put this together, and then I'll figure out my arrows here in just a minute. I've cut the diagonal pieces, and now I'm a little confused, but that's all right. Nothing new. Okay, so now we're going to put this together. So let's go ahead and attach our end pieces, the center inside of our card. Get the glue off. All right, so I just brought in some glue to make sure that this was gluing down. All right, whoopsie. Okay, and this is going to go on here. I put a little bit too much glue on that, but that's all right. So we're going to line this up here. And then we're going to set that, and then this is going to go on the inside of our card. All right, so let's take this and move this out of the way for the moment. All right. Now, I just got to get on my pieces now that I got flustered. Oh, there's my other piece I was looking for. Couldn't find my other piece that I needed. All right, so now we'll go ahead and add this to the inside of our card. And then this will help us when we go to lay our arrows down that we don't have them sticking out, okay? So we're going to go ahead and apply that. And then this is going to go just like this. Okay, so that's pretty simple, right? All right, now the reason that we cut this at an angle is we want to make sure that we don't see anything when we, as far as when we go do our writing, okay? Now we're going to add these 2 pieces onto here. All right, so far, I haven't boogered this part up yet, so we're doing so far so good. I'll try to put less glue because that was coming out really thick. And we'll just put a little bit there. All right, so this, in this pretty paper, I wish that this didn't, I wish they would have made some more of this kind of paper. I like this. It's a little bit thinner than what we're used to on the Stampin' Up! World, but it's fine. All right, so we want to get this cut. It's going to have a small border. And I'm going to put that little piece right there so it glues down because I kind of tore it. All right, so there, whoop, let's move this over just a tad. There we go. Okay, so we got that. I think this is off just a tad. All right, now that's going to go on here. So we're going to place that here. All right, so see how it's coming into play? So let's go ahead and add some adhesive to this. And then this is going to lay down on the front of the card. Okay, so we're going to lay that there. Okay, all right, so far there's the base of our card, right? All right, now we have arrows. All right, so here's the ones that we cut off initially. So these are going to get layered. Now, when you layer these on here, notice that, and this is okay, that they are not going to come all the way down to the points, and that's all right. That's how it's supposed to be. Whoopsie. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now, let me get my other two pieces here and my arrows. So we have these two pieces. That's going to go like that. And that's going to come down. Okay, we've got it. I didn't need that other piece after all. All right, so this is going to be the part that's going to go here after I glue this down. And then this piece here are going to be on top, okay? So we're going to glue this on here. So we're going to have our borders. These are the ones where we kept the right sides, right? So let's go ahead and glue this down. We're just going to put, yeah, we're going to glue this, and then we'll pop these up on dimensionals, which will make your card a little bit thicker, but it'll give it a little bit of oomph. So, okay, so this is going to go on here. I'm going to line it up at the top, and then it should just fall into place. Okay, so we've got that. And these are really pretty colors, aren't they? And then this is going to go just like that. Okay, so we're going to put some adhesive on this one. I apologize for having to run and leave y'all, but you know what? I haven't done that in a while, I don't think. So, but that happens. So it's live. We all make mistakes, right? Nobody's perfect. And then we're going to attach that right about like that. And then you've got a little bit of time. We can shift everybody over to make sure they're even. Okay. All right. So that's going to go there. Now, this will go here. Okay. Now we want to make sure, let me glue this one down. Let's glue this one down, and then we'll add, this goes over here. All right, let's glue these pieces down, because these are going to go on the top of this other fan, if you will. Ooh, the air conditioner just came on. Thank goodness. All right, so we're going to glue that down. So let's go ahead and get the arrows done, and then we can finish our card. All right, so we're going to put the yellow on the yellow, and we're going to put that right about like that. All right, and then we're going to place this one on top of the green one. All right, so put that there. All right, and if you would like the tutorial, leave the tutorial. I'll get that to you. I'll send it out to you tomorrow, because by the time I get done this evening, I'm going to go sit down and relax. So I'll get it to you first thing in the morning, if that's okay with you guys. All right, so we'll get that on there, and got to make sure we've got our arrows so we have enough room. There we go. Okay, so there are our arrows. All right, now this is going to go down into the corner here, right? So we want this to go right to the top of our paper. If you can see that, let me get in the camera. Hang on, let me get over here. So we want this to go, we don't want it to go above. We want it to come down here in the corner. Pardon me. And then we want this piece to not exceed over here where our, for our card to close. Now, I already cut my paper because I kind of gauged what I thought, but this is what I would recommend. Hold it here, and then you can see right here where you don't want your paper. So you can kind of gauge and draw a line right here. And then that way you can hold that here. on your paper before you cut it to make sure. I just eyeballed it and knew I need to come in a little bit. And then that way you don't have this paper sticking out, okay? Let me erase that off of here. Probably should have brought my other eraser. Okay, all right, so this one's gonna go. So we know we've already cut our inside paper, so we know that's gonna work. I'm gonna put this up on dimensionals. So we don't wanna put any dimensionals past this mark. So if I go like that, then you can just take a little pencil mark if you want and just make a little line so that you know that you don't want to go past that with your dimensionals, okay? So we're going to pop this up. Pardon me. All of a sudden my throat has decided to do a little scratch. I'm going to get a sip of water. Okay. All right. So we're going to put some dimensionals on the back. Pardon me. And I'm just going to line them up. I'm not going to put a lot, but I am going to put some on here. So we'll just come down. Well, here, you know, look what I did. Is that going to work? See what I did? Don't do what I just did. There's my line. So we'll put that one down there. See, don't do what I do. I'm just, you know, I'm so used to sticking them on there, right? Okay. So we don't want that. So we're going to put one right about, there's my lines. I'm going to put one right about there. And then I am going to put one, I'm going to cut it. Let me see if I have any small dimensionals. Hang on. We want a little baby one. So let's get a mini dimensional. And I think we got room here. So we'll put a little mini one right here. All right. I think that's enough. I don't think we need any more than that. All right. So let's go ahead and take these off. And then we'll attach this and then we'll work on our second arrow with our, card. And let me put my fingernail in there so we can pop this little guy off. I got glue on my fingers. There we go. Okay. All right. So we're going to put him right here. Now we know it's going to go in this corner like that. And then we want it up there so it doesn't go past that one. And then we're going to place it right there. And then you can see we can't see any dimensionals. So we're good with that, right? Okay. And then this one's going to go in the center and it's going to, now again, it's going to go right down on top of this one. And then this one, we're going to have it go like that. So right here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pull this up. Hang on a minute. Let me get my fingers underneath of it. I'm going to hold this up, get it centered. All right. So that's where I'm going to hold it. So I don't want anything to go past this little mark right here. Okay. Because we're going to glue that down as well. And we're going to do dimensionals. So let's do dimensional. So there's my line. So I'm just going to put my dimensionals on here and we'll just kind of stagger them. And then we'll put one there. We'll put one right there. And then let's do a mini one. We could probably put a big one there. And let's see if we can get a little mini one down at the bottom. I may cut that in half. Let's see if we can get it. Will he fit? All right, let's cut this in half. Let me put it on here. All right, so we're going to cut that dimensional. I'm just going to trim up on one that's already right here, and then I'll just take half of that off. There we go. We just need a little bit because we want it to hold down. So just take a little mini. Actually, we'll do the other half. Hang on. Got to get my other little, where'd my little guy go? Is that the one I just put away? Hold on. Oh, here he is right here. All right, so we're going to take that one off. I should be using my tweezers. And we're going to place that one right there. Actually, I'm going to switch them around. This one's smaller. So let's do that. Let me pull this one up. I'm going to put this one down here. Hang on a minute. Let me get my tweezers. All right, so we got this one here. We're going to put that one right near the tip. All right, and then this one, we're going to place this one right there. Okay, and hopefully you don't see these. All right, so let's push down our papers to pop them up. And we'll go ahead and pull these little guys off. Hang on. So you just have to have a little bit of patience. But once you do this, it's it really is not that difficult. It's just making sure you cut everything and don't do what I did and get confused. Okay. All right. So now, and you notice how it's not going all the way down, but that's okay. So again, we're going to line this up in the corner, and I want to get it centered. And I think that's pretty good. Let me lift it up just a little bit. There we go. And then we're going to flip it over, and perfect. We don't see anything on that side. So see, we don't see anything right there. So there's the front of our card. And we have our inside ready for us to write our sentiment. And you can decorate if you want to decorate something there. That's all fine and well. Okay, so now we're just going to do a sentiment, and then we're going to make our envelope. So as I mentioned in the beginning, since this was part of one of the original close to my heart scrapbooking kits that when they first merged with us, I had bought this because it was on sale. So this is this big old sticker sheet. So I'm going to use this as a, I'm just going to put you and me, I think, and I'm just going to stick it right here. And then I'm going to take, let's see if I can find, let's do a yellow heart. And then we'll make a, when we write our card, then we will decorate the inside. So I'm just going to place that right there. And this could be, you know, a birthday card. It could be an anniversary card. It could be whatever you want, right? So I'm going to place this. Whoops, I got to get in the camera. That would help, wouldn't it? Sorry about that. So I put you and me down there, and then I'm going to add this heart right here, which is this, they're both stickers, and it just sticks right there. So that is how you make this card. Now, because it is a bigger card, and I am going to work on trying to figure out how I can make it smaller, you know, cut it. I'll just have to remeasure it based on a regular size card, and then we'll go from there and see if we can do that. So let me move this out of the way. And then I'm going to bring in my envelope punch board. Now, this is a 5x7 card, okay? So we're going to do a, got to make an envelope, all right? Now, if you don't have an envelope punch board, which we used to sell, but we don't anymore, I do have it listed below the video through my Amazon store. I am an affiliate, so if you make a purchase, it's not going to cost you anything as far as, but I will receive a small commission from them. All right, so, pardon me, on the envelope punch board, the first thing you want to do is look up the size of your card. So and it goes from, they start at 2 and 3.5 size cards all the way up to a 6x8.5. So we're going to do a 5x7. So it says card size is 5x7. So you need a 9.5 by 9.5 piece of pattern paper or cardstock to make your envelope. And I've already cut that. Let's just make sure I did that right. I always second guess myself. So it's, what does it say? 9.5 by 9.5. So let's just make sure it's 9.5. It is. All right. So that's right. Okay. Just want to make sure. You know how I am. All right. Pardon me. Okay. Now it says we got our 9.5 by 9.5 paper. It says we need to start at 4 inches to do our first score. All right. Pardon me. Pardon me. So up here, it goes from 1 inch to 5 inches here. So we're going to take our paper and we are going to place it in here. We're going to line it up at the 4-inch mark right there. Okay. And then you've got, it comes with a score, a bone folder. And in this little groove right here, under here, there are, see the score line right here? That's the score line that you're going to put your your tool in, and you're going to pull it down to give it that crease. Okay. So we're going to start at 4, and we're going to get our blade in here, and we're going to get it going so we can feel it as you go. You'll feel it, see how it's going. So we're going to go all the way down. I always do it twice. And then you want to push this because that's going to make the notch for your envelope. Okay. So now the next thing you're going to do, you don't have to worry about measuring. You just want to follow the score line. So there's our score line. So I'm going to lay it in here. See how it's got score guide arrow. So you're going to line that up. You're going to have this little guy right here. See this little guy. He's going to sit right on your score line right here. And then we're going to do it again. We're going to place our little knifey in here and see how we're making our score. We're just putting it in that track and pulling it down. And now we're going to punch it a second time. And then we're going to turn it and do that all over again. So now we're lining it up with that score line right here. And that little thing, it's going to tell you right there where it needs to go. And then again, I'm finding my track and I'm going to pull down. Now, it may not go all the way to the end of the paper because the board, but that's okay. You can fold it once you get it done. Use your bone folder and we'll fold it. Now we have to punch it again. Then we're going to turn one more time. And we've got our lines right there. So again, we're lining it up. And if, again, as I mentioned, if you don't have a score envelope punch board, it's in the link below. All right. So again, we've got it lined up and we're going to do our little score one more time. We're going to get it in that track and then we're going to punch that. So now we have all of our 4 grooves. All right. Now the next thing, and then you get 4 little pieces of trash right there. And the back of this is a corner rounder. Okay, so it's gonna round our corners. So you just want to lay that in there and make sure it's butted up in the triangle, and then push down and see how it rolls it, rounds the corner. So we're going to do that, and it rounds it. And make sure you get it in there even up against both sides, otherwise it won't round. Okay, and then you get a couple little scraps right, just like that. So we're going to move that over there. All right, now we're going to come in. And since this one's got some stain, I don't know what that is. I'm going to pull this in. I'm going to make this, wait a minute, this is on that side too. Oh, let's see. Well, it's on the flap, so it's not going to be seen, so it doesn't matter. So let's do it this way. All right, so I'm going to fold my flaps in, and then I'm going to give it a good, I'm going to use my bone folder just because I'm used to it that way. And then you're going to fold up your flaps. And I didn't bring my tear and tape, but I'll show you what I did on the other envelope. All right, so we're going to do that. And then we're going to do this. We're going to come around. I'm just burnishing all of my lines, all of my score lines. All right, so now there's our envelope. Now you can decide how you want to fold it. This is going to be the top of my card. I'm going to put some adhesive. I'm going to go ahead and use my seal on this part here. So I know that I can only go up to here. So I'm going to place it on this piece right here. And I'm just going to pull it up to that little point. And I'm going to push this over. That way I know it's going to adhere and not hold my envelope. All right, so I'm going to put it on that side right here. And that way, if I go along the edge, then I know I've got the glue in the right spot. And that one I missed a little bit. Okay, but that's all right. All right, so we're going to lay that in here. And now we have our envelope. Now, what I recommend, and I didn't bring it in here, but I use tear and tape. So now that your card, and I always use colored paper, but this is what I've used. And then you just write your stuff. So what I would do for the glue for the person or for you is use tear and tape, or you can use your seal if you're going to mail it yourself. You can just put your seal right around the edges and then pull it shut. If it's something that you're going to give to somebody, in my case, if I sell my cards like I do, then I put tear and tape right along the top. And then when I'm ready to mail it, I will take my card and stick it in my envelope, and it's ready to be mailed like that. So that's if I was to mail it in this one. Okay. Now, let me just show you, because we did do this in the white one. So this will go in here. Now, if you don't like this much of a flap right here, you can just cut that off or fold it down, whichever. So we're going to place this in here. And then there, make sure your arrows go in. So you want to make sure. Now we did pop this up. So now this is a 5x7. So that's going to may cost you a little bit more, but that's okay. All right. And then there's our envelope for our card. What do you think about that? Pretty nifty, huh? All right, let me show you the card that I made in case you came in late. So there's the envelope for this one. And then this one, this is the one that I initially did. Same pattern paper. Let me pull this down. This is the one I did. I ran out of this blue paper on this one, so I just put this color on the back. It coordinates. It's the same color scheme. So that's that one. And this is this one. So what do you think about that? I thought this was a good, not, you know, of course, I started getting a little frantic when I thought I messed up on my arrows. So, but the directions are in the tutorial. And just remember to keep everything at the angles. And I do need to make a note that I did not cut those last two pieces in a cut down in a triangle. So I'll make sure I remember to do that. I'll get the tutorials out to you all tomorrow. I hope you've enjoyed this card and my craziness as usual. I am going to work on, again, this is a 5x7, but I will work on trying to get one cut down that's going to be in our realm as far as our cardstock and envelope. So okay, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that, I think these cards are amazing. And I think whoever gets them is going to be thrilled that, you know, they actually made it. They're just unique cards. So thank you again for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Oh, very Art Deco. Thanks, Karen. I will I'll make sure I get you the right directions. Everything's in here and I'll send you all a copy. So that you'll get it. I'll send them to you tomorrow. All right. Thanks again, everyone. I really appreciate you spending your Tuesday evening with me. I believe I will not be live next Tuesday. We do have a musical event this season. We're in the summer season now. I will try to put together a recorded video, something fun. So I'll have something for you next Tuesday. All right. It won't be me live. Okay, thanks again. I greatly appreciate it. If you know somebody that is looking to learn how to make cards, then pass them along to my channels. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you again. I really appreciate y'all's support. And have a great evening. Hi, Kay. How are you doing? Thanks, everybody, for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Bye now.